Scott, S-C-O-T-T, Sellman, S-E-L-L-M-A-N.
And you can just look right at me the whole time.
Okay.
Sort of just in the middle of the camera. But and if you can stay like super still, sorry. I know this is awkward. But
Any more rules?
yeah. Who are you missing here on your staff?
Firefighter Mike Gosted. Mike is a 20-year veteran of the Lindstrom Fire Department. He has currently been diagnosed and in treatment for a severe lung infection.
What's his title?
His current title is a firefighter. Through his 20 years, Mike has served, starting as a firefighter, was promoted to lieutenant, captain, my assistant chief for a number of years, and about the time this started coming around, he decided to step down and just be a firefighter so he could deal with his illness.
Why do you think he dedicates his time to do this?
Mike is always, as you talked to the family earlier tonight, it's about the fun and it's about the hunting and the outdoors. Another one of Mike's huge passions is public safety and firefighting. Mike has dedicated his last 20 years not only as a firefighter, but he also took EMT or medic training. He just likes helping people. We were very fortunate a number of years ago. Mike was hired by a company called Rosenbauer to build fire trucks. And Mike actually designed this truck that's to my left as one of his projects at Rosenbauer. So he not only is on the department, but got to build a truck for our department. So.
Could you sort of tell me a little bit about his let me just address this, about his personality and what he brings to the team here?
Mike has a very unique personality. First and foremost is his humor, but Mike is also very knowledgeable in firefighting. When Mike originally told me about his illness, he was really concerned about the effects it would have with the fire department and the members he worked with. What's that?
What were the concerns?
The concerns was that he couldn't do the job. He came up to me and said, I can't put on an air pack, I can't go into the smoke-filled buildings. On wet, cold nights, it really affects me. And at that point, we had a long discussion about, your training and your knowledge is a huge part of this too. So at that point, Mike decided that he would help train these guys. We have quite a few of us that have been on a number of years, and we have a bunch of them that have been on just a few years. And the knowledge that he's gained through his experiences at the fire department, he's starting to pass that on to the younger crew.
You miss him?
Very much so. Very much so. Not only is Mike one of my firefighters, but Mike is a true friend of mine. He got on the department shortly before I did, before there was any rank and title. We were just two smoke eaters.
Is it tough that he's dealing with a lung illness while having fought fires?
It is. It's just tough to see him the way he is now. I've been down to the hospital a couple of times to see Mike and to talk to Mike. I was fortunate to exchange texts with him prior to him being intubated, and saying a few words back and forth. But it's hard at times working a big fire and looking around. I've got a handful of guys all of these guys up here rock. I got a handful of my older guys that I rely on and I count on, and I look around and Mike's not at the pump panel, or Mike's not with this crew. So.
What do you hope for Mike?
I hope Mike gets his transplant. I hope Mike is able to make a recovery and to lead as normal life as he can.
What does it say about the community?
Community is huge. As the GoFundMe page kicked off, I was going back and forth with one of the co-authors, and I said, you're going to see a lot of donations here. There's a lot of support for the fire department. There's a lot of support for Mike. He's very well known. A lot of talk about how well known Mike is in the community. Also, Mike is well known state and nationwide. With his role with Rosenbauer, Mike was able to go to different trade shows and stuff and gain relationships with other fire departments. So a friend of mine, and chief next door yesterday, was having a conversation with me. He was up in northwestern Minnesota when the GoFundMe page started kicking off, and he called me up and he goes, "What's going on?" He said, "I've got the chiefs up here in northwestern Minnesota asking me about it. What can they do? What can they help with? Whatever." So it's not only a testament to Mike being a firefighter, it's Mike being Mike. Very true, salt of the earth gentleman. A lot of humor, a lot of knowledge, but just all around a great guy.
hoping just I noticed his stuff was here, and I was just hoping you could.
Absolutely. So one of the pictures that we have out there on social media right now is a picture that we put out waiting for Mike to return to duty. So the firefighters at Lindstrom Fire have their own locker assigned to them with their personal protection equipment or their firefighting equipment that is stored as you see up and down the line here. This is Mike's gear. His helmet is shown here as number 29. One of the neat side stories of all of this is one of the machines that's keeping Mike alive is Unit 29. Totally random, totally out of the blue, but the day the family sent me that, it hit home. That's the numbers that these guys not only identify themselves with, but it's their equipment number. And if you ask these guys what their number is, it's kind of like asking a police officer what your badge number is. This is their unit number. So you've got Mike's jacket here, you've got his helmet up there.
Why was it important?
I'm sorry?
He's not here.
No.
So why was it so important to keep this stuff here?
Because we're waiting for him to come back to duty. It's important to keep it here. Mike is still an active member of the Lindstrom Fire Department. He did not retire prior to this occurring. We still have him on our roster. He's still one of us. So one of the guys actually took it upon themselves one day to come up here and put his jacket like this, just waiting for him to show up and put his gear back on. So